92 points. 92 points. The Cowboys in their last 2 home games have given up an average of 46 points per game after the ass whooping that they got by the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, where they gave up 44 points to Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints, who score on their first 6 possessions with 6 touchdowns. Kevin Gray, All City DLLS. Appreciate you joining me here on YouTube. You can find me on X at Kevin Gray Sports. You can also subscribe to Kevin Gray Sports on YouTube. The Cowboys got absolutely drugged by the Saints on Sunday so badly that I had to get on a Facebook video for my wife and my daughter to sing Who Dat said they're going to beat them Saints, because I lost a bet, because I was sure of the fact that the Cowboys weren't going to embarrass me and have me have to sing that song to my daughter, who somehow became a Saints fan throughout the years. Worst parenting job on my part. That's another conversation for another day. The point is, the Cowboys got manhandled, got mauled by a Saints team that's now 2-0 and looking like a juggernaut with Clint Kubiak's offense, who ran roughshod over Mike Zimmer's defense. The Cowboys look like the same pathetic run defense that we saw the last time they were inside AT&T Stadium, when Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers walked up in there and put a beatdown of a lifetime on those jabronis and the Cowboys inside AT&T Stadium. Yes, that was The Rock I just quoted. But at the same time, here's what concerns me. Is this Cowboys team and this defense indicative of what we're going to see next week? Is this who they actually are? Or are they going to rise up when they play Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and the Baltimore Ravens? The same Baltimore Ravens who I know are 0-2, but at the same time ran for over 150 yards against the Las Vegas Raiders, albeit in a loss. But Derrick Henry had nearly 90 yards on the ground, nearly 5 yards per carry. Alvin Kamara walked in here, had 4 touchdowns himself, and looked spectacular against this Cowboys defense. But if you watch the game, you watch what we've been talking about for weeks and months when it came to this defense. The defensive line is horrendous. Blown off the ball time and time again, whether it was Jordan Phillips, whether it was Linval Joseph, whether it was Mozzie Smith, Osa Odigizua, take your pick. They got blasted time and time again, and watch this New Orleans Saints offense run them over throughout the course of that game on Sunday, and looked like a shell of themselves did that Cowboys defense. Actually, they reminded us of exactly who they were last year, which is a team that couldn't stop the run. Yeah, they looked great against Cleveland, who found a way to get a win against Jacksonville this past weekend. But when they ran up against a Clint Kubiak offense coming from that Mike Shanahan tree, or I should say, that Kyle Shanahan tree. I guess technically it is Mike Shanahan who passed it down to Kyle Shanahan, who kind of remade the thing. And now he's got all these other guys running around who used to work with him, who got breathed on. The point is, Kyle Shanahan's offenses are running around in different variations like mutant variants all over the NFL. And Clint Kubiak is the latest one to be able to utilize it against the Dallas Cowboys. It was so evident that throughout the course of this game, the Cowboys didn't have a clue what was coming, how to defend it, how to stop it. Run fits were absolutely horrendous. The Saints were able to run to the outside, run to the inside, run wherever they wanted to, and simply the Cowboys got physically manhandled. I have not seen a team, its defensive line, get blown off the ball since, that's right, when it happened against the Green Bay Packers in the wild card round last year. What I'm sick and tired of is the fact that I have to keep defending this football team based on what they are, what they aren't, what they should be versus what they aren't, and how they perform when they need to in the biggest stages of the NFL. And when you've got Tom Brady in your building, you embarrass not only yourself, but you're also embarrassing everybody else around you when you have that kind of defensive performance. Now, here's my question. Is this who the Cowboys are for this upcoming year, or is this simply a blip in what should be a long and successful season? Let's think about it. The San Francisco 49ers, who are dealing with significant injuries of their own, with Christian McCaffrey going to be gone for the next several weeks, they lost to the Minnesota Vikings. The Baltimore Ravens, the aforementioned Ravens, they lost at home to the Las Vegas Raiders in a noon game where the Raiders traveled cross country and beat them with a huge fourth quarter comeback led by Gardner Minshew and beat the Baltimore Ravens. The Chiefs barely got away with it against the Cincinnati Bengals in what was a really good football game there. The Cardinals put a beat down so bad on the Los Angeles Rams, they don't know who they're going to find a replacement in terms of Cooper Kupp going over the next several weeks. The point is, the NFL is strange. You're going to have good wins. You're going to have bad losses. You're going to have inexplicable wins. You're going to have inexplicable losses like the Cowboys had on Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. So, are they going to be what we saw against the Cleveland Browns, or are they going to be the team that got their ass whooped by the New Orleans Saints? Only time will tell. But what I do know is this defensive line is absolutely horrendous, and it's unacceptable based on the expectations that this team has. The running back room is one of the worst, if not the worst, in the National Football League, and that wasn't even the real problem. The red zone and the offense of that red zone for the Cowboys was not good. Dak Prescott was fine. Wasn't great. Wasn't spectacular. Wasn't horrendous either. He was okay. The first interception, if you watch the game and the tape back, wasn't on him. Jalen Brooks fell down. The ball was thrown perfectly where it was supposed to. Guy made a play on it. Next thing you know, it leads to another touchdown. That is what it is. The second interception, yeah, you can't make that throw trying to force it to CeeDee Lamb. It's just not there. But at the same time, you're in a game where you're trying to come back as quickly as you can. You're going to be forcing the issue. Dak was okay. Not bad, not terrible, not spectacular. He was fine. He wasn't the main issue. He wasn't the one out there watching a defense. He wasn't the one on defense watching them give up 44 points and 6 touchdowns in their first 6 possessions. That is an attitude problem. That is a reflection of the execution or lack thereof by the Cowboys. Now, Mike Zimmer said that his job is to fix this defense, and he's going to fix it. But can he fix what is poor personnel, especially in the trenches? Because that is where this game was lost. The Cowboys simply do not have a starting caliber defensive tackle in the middle right now for this football team, and that is the biggest problem. Now you're going to watch a Ravens team get ready to walk here and try to do the same thing that the Saints did, which is run the ball down your throat with a really good running back and a good offensive line. And oh, by the way, the quarterback can run the football too. So 1-1 after 2 games. Who are the Dallas Cowboys? Are they the team that obliterated Deshaun Watson and physically got after him and looked like almost made him quit in week number 1? Or are they the team that quit on themselves after getting their doors blown off by the New Orleans Saints? I don't know. You don't know. But most importantly, we're angry. Everyone's angry because too many times we've seen the blueprint against a dynamic offense coming from the Kyle Shanahan tree whoop up on you time and time again, where you look confused, befuddled, and have no idea what's coming, and the lack of effort when it comes to the actual lack of execution as well. Marrying that together, you get a disaster on the defensive side of the ball, and that's exactly what happened. It is inexcusable for a team that has this kind of talent and what should be an improved schematic defense led by Mike Zimmer to get blown out the way that they did. And I don't care about what Micah Parsons got to say. I don't care what any of them got to say. Get on the field, beat down the opponent that you're supposed to, and show why you have or are supposed to have one of the best defenses in the NFL. But that simply is not the case. You were physically dominated and manhandled for that entirety of the 4 quarters that you played against the Saints. And it is inexcusable that this team that we're talking about, effort, execution, and the ability to continue to try and find a way to stop one of these offenses, because it doesn't look like they're going to stop one of these offenses anytime soon. Because what evidence have you seen over the last couple of times that they played these kinds of offenses that they've got an answer to stop it? I don't want to hear about organizational mentality and focus, what they are and aren't focused on. This is simply about players who cannot and did not do their job against the Saints. That doesn't mean that they won't turn it around. But what this has to be is a wake-up call. I don't care. You don't be smelling yourself after week 1. Maybe you put yourself too high on a pedestal. Not the excuses that have been made by this locker room about what happened. Beat the teams that you need to beat and prove why you should be one of the top contenders in the NFC. That didn't happen on Sunday. But I'm not going to necessarily overreact. I saw what I saw. I needed to hear what I heard from everyone else on what happened and why it happened. But moving forward, this cannot be a blueprint for what happens down the road. Because if it is, it's going to be a hell of a long season for this football team. And I don't care what kind of talent they do or do not bring in. They've got to find a way to play better, execute better, and turn the page on this now. Because if they don't, this stink will linger on them for the rest of the year. But now you have to find a way to regroup and not get out physicaled. That, to me, is one of the most concerning parts of this loss. You got physically manhandled and dominated at the point of attack, at the line of scrimmage, and the Saints bullied you. They did not give a damn who was on that line. They ran at Parsons. They ran away from Parsons. They ran through Parsons. They did everything that they could. Parsons played okay at times, but the entirety of this defense was sleepwalking. I don't know what the hell Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker were doing when they let Shaheed run by him for 70 yards and Derek Carr drops a bomb over the top of him for a touchdown. All that was horrific by the Cowboys on Sunday. And all I know is Mike McCarthy and this team better figure it out and figure it out fast. They've got too tough of a schedule and too many tough games coming down the road for this to be the talking point after 2 weeks. A team that's Jekyll and Hyde, and a team, yes, and I've been saying it for a while now, that play like a bunch of front runners. When things are going well, this team can be virtually unbeatable. When they face a little bit of adversity, when they get down, it seems like this team allows it to snowball. That is not the mentality of a championship team. That is not the mentality of a team that's supposed to be shown as true contenders in the NFC. That's not the mentality of a football team that's supposed to come out and show teams week after week why they have to be taken seriously and be on the short list of teams that you think could win a Super Bowl. That is not what happened on Sunday. You cannot allow yourself to be as good as you are when things are going well, but then be as horrendous as you were when things are going bad. You've got to find a way to, at some point, be the team that can show that you could demonstrate character in at times of adversity, be able to stop the bleeding when you need to, and find a way to try to come back and win some of these games. And even if you don't win, show a measure of fight that allows you to give us an idea that if you get in this situation, you do have the measure and the resolve to find a way to win some of these games. But it looked like a team on Sunday that was physically and mentally beat down by a Saints team that decided that they were going to come in there and put on a show. Who that? Yeah, the Saints were that on Sunday, and the Cowboys found themselves on the other side of a can of whoop ass by the Saints, who find themselves second lining around AT&T Stadium, embarrassing the hell out of all of us, but especially me. It can't be this way. Cowboys need to find a way to get it done. Otherwise, all this conversation about the mentality, what they focus on, what they don't focus on, the brand, Jerry Jones, blaming Stephen Jones, all of this does not matter if you don't find a way to turn this ish around, and you start by doing it this coming week against Baltimore, because that's an angry football team that's coming. And if you don't find a way to turn the page of what just happened, you're going to find yourself on the other end of another beatdown, especially for a dude and Derrick Henry who was in your backyard, who you decided not to make the call. And now you got these cats out here running the football in Ezekiel Elliott, Deuce Vaughn, Rico Dowdle, and others in a running back room that is terrible. I don't need to say it any louder than that, because you see it. Like Jada Parker, you see it. It's my time. You see it. The Cowboys need to see something different on Sunday, because if they don't, they're staring down the barrel of 1-2 and looking like more of a laughingstock around the National Football League. It's just one loss. Yes, it's just one loss. You say, Kevin, it's only one loss. You got 15 more games to go during this regular season, and you are absolutely right. You are 100% correct. 15 more games to go for the Cowboys. But what they cannot be is a team that looks like they were out-coached, outmanned, out-physical, but most importantly, were dominated in the trenches, because games are won and lost in the trenches, and the Cowboys simply could not do it. Terrence Steele getting beat by Granderson left and right, a team that just had no answer on offense or defense. Shout out to Butter Aubrey, because he's the only one that give a damn right now about how he performs. It feels like week in and week out, because he's doing his thing. I'm tired of seeing field goals, though, in the red zone. Put the ball in the end zone and find a way to get some points on the board. You say, Kevin, they scored 16 points in the first half. A team that usually averages 16 points can get to 32 and find a way to win, but they couldn't find a way to stop the New Orleans Saints, and it put all that pressure on this offense to perform. So many things that went so terribly wrong, but the Cowboys now have a chance to fix it when they get to Baltimore, or when Baltimore, I should say, comes into AT&T Stadium on Sunday. Will they? How will they? All those questions will be answered, I guess, over the next several days. But the Cowboys got me out here looking like an idiot in front of my entire family, because I had to sing Who Dat? Who Dat? The Saints, unfortunately, beat down the Cowboys. You can find me on X at Kevin Gray Sports. Subscribe to Kevin Gray Sports on YouTube. You can catch me on DLLS Mavs every single day, 5 times a week at DLLS Mavs for all things DLLS Sports for the All City Network. Talk to you later. Peace.